Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski 1 changed the course of MMA history forever, in the sense of, had Islam not used those 3 minutes in the fourth round where he got to Alex's back and did nothing. He didn't strike. He didn't go for submission attempts. He was in trouble that round. And then he was able to get to Volk's back. And Volk was doing more damage to Islam, who was on his back, by punching behind him. I think he actually gave Islam like a black eye from that. But of course the judges scored it for Islam because he had back control, but he was doing nothing with it. And the only way I know how to describe it is Islam was hiding on the back of Volk to avoid any sort of damage and just stay there. He had him in the body lock, and that is just like, I mean, Volk, you got to fight your way out of that. You got to get out of the body lock. You got to do something. But Islam just had it so deep. I mean, it was almost impossible for him to get out of. But he was doing damage. Like, Volk was literally doing damage by punching behind him and punching Islam in the face more than Islam was doing damage to Volk. And so that's where I get frustrated with Islam, is because he uses and like abuses, like, okay, if I just get control here, I know I'm going to get the points for the round. Doesn't matter what else I do. All I need to do is get control here. And the judges are going to see it for my, if I get control for half this round, then I win the round. Or over half of this round, I win the round. And so it's just insanely frustrating to see that be the case. And a lot of the blame, if not all of the blame, is to be on JDM for not trying to scramble, not trying to get up more. I think what is frustrating to me is when you have that much control time and you can't get a finish, I'm not calling you great. I'm not going to consider you in the GOAT conversation. It is insane to have 19 minutes of control time, and I understand JDM defended well, but I'm like, you had 19 minutes to figure out how to submit this guy, and you could not do it. Islam is, I just look back at that, and I'm just like, dude, 19 minutes of control time, and you couldn't get the finish. I mean, hats off to Jack for not getting finished, but I'm like, man, at least be like Khabib and just go for the ground and pound and beat the brakes off of someone. But he didn't. 32 significant strikes in the entire fight. Both guys walked away with 0 damage. They could fight next month if they wanted to. So it's just like such an interesting way to, I don't want to say it's an interesting way to win a fight. One, it's just not exciting. It doesn't bring fans to the sport. Like I said, all these guys in my comment section, there's like 3 levels of fandom in the UFC. There's when you first start and you're like, wow, I love this sport because it's super exciting and I'm seeing a lot of knockouts and guys beat the crap out of each other. Oh, I just watched UFC 322. That sucked. I genuinely did not enjoy that. Then you get to the middle stage where you're watching it more. Maybe you're taking jiu-jitsu, maybe you're in boxing, maybe you're wrestling, whatever it may be. And that's where you become these guys who are in my comment section who are like, you don't understand the sport. You're a casual. You've never been inside the cage. True, by the way. You can't appreciate passing guard and half guard and the control Islam had on the ground. And I'm like, no, I absolutely can't appreciate it. Even in that video, I said on paper, he's the GOAT. But then you get to this side where I'm at, where I'm past that, and I'm back to, it was not an exciting fight. I did not enjoy watching that. Like, I understand playing it safe. I understand doing what works best to win. Like, why would you not? I think I'm just disappointed because I'm like, UFC 322, when that card came out, we were like, oh my gosh, this is going to be insane. And I think just like if you're going to be that utterly dominant on the ground, you should be consistently and constantly going for submissions. And I think what was hard is a lot of the fight, Islam tried to set up some submissions but wasn't really getting it. But he was more concerned about keeping JDM on his back than he was going for submission attempts. And that is what is annoying and frustrating about watching Islam fight. And that Dagestani style. But it gives me a greater appreciation for Khabib. And I will say Khabib is probably better than Islam. In the sense that, like, Khabib quite literally smashed people. Like, I just kept going back to the Michael Johnson fight versus Khabib, where he's got him up against the cage. He's pinning him up against the cage with his hands. He is not on top of him. He's basically just holding him there, being like, brother, you have to let me fight. You have to give up. I have to fight for the title. I deserve it. And just these thudding punches. And what's so crazy about it is that he's like he is not using insane control means and methods to keep MJ on the ground. Like, it was just like he was utterly beating the crap out of the guy. And I think I just would have liked to have seen that. I would have liked to have seen more submission attempts and trying to be more reckless in it, if you will. And I feel like Khabib was calling for that too. Every time, I can't remember who it was saying, but one of the commentators made the point like Khabib is telling Islam to smash. He just keeps saying smash, 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 and Islam was not doing anything. And then I felt like there were plenty of opportunities where he was like, go for this submission, go for that submission. Like he had moments and he just couldn't get it, which is just like insane to me because like I said in that clip that I posted, it just completely overshadows how good Islam actually is by getting Charles Oliveira out in the first round, getting Dustin out in the 5th round with a submission, getting Renato Moicano out in the first round, knocking out Volk, like finishing Dan Hooker, finishing Bobby Green all in the first round. It's just nuts. I think I just want to see, as a fan and someone who's been watching for a long time, I want to see active submission attempts. And we just did not get that as much as we probably would have liked. It's the same thing that I said about Shevchenko. You know that they have this skill set in their arsenal. You know Shevchenko has the ability to take out Wei Li however she sees fit. And it's the same thing with Islam. And it's just like they don't use it. Like I'm just like, if you're that good, get the finish on a guy who is not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background, is not a wrestling background. Just get the finish. That's all I care about. You know, I think if you would have gotten the finish, Darce or whatever, I would have been like, I'm going to shut my mouth about this guy now. But that fight just frustrated me more. All the haters in the comment, get wrecked. But, I mean, Islam genuinely is, he's great. He's phenomenal. I would like to see some stylistic matchups that are better suited for him.